We have a guest speaker here who can talk everything about what we're going to be having for the day 2.
I said it was Monday.
It was Monday, actually. It was your
Monday?
first day for you, huh? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know nothing.
Actually, it was interesting because he was the first part of the day, actually.
And I liked his way that he was going into so aggressively challenging everything, which for me was very nice. I love it.
A bit, yes.
Yeah,
I
but
wanted to stay a
we
little
like
bit more
that.
steady.
So I'm happy he showed up.
See you guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
So day 2, by the way, it was the official day 1, and what we discussed about was 3 things mainly. It was the presentation of a new company, a new idea called EcoAlf, which is sea upcycling, and it's recycle everything from the bottom of the sea and creating new products, mainly in fashion. And then we talked with Pete about how you can be managing the change or lead the change, which is very, very different. And the last piece was about, let me remember, about the Asian market, which is very, very important. But still, we think it's something which is completely out of our spectrum of understanding because they're so different from what we do on a Western world we live. So, what do you think? What was the main thing for you for those 3 topics we discussed?
I think I liked a lot of Javier's
yes.
presentation because he is someone who kept trying and he actually finally seemed like he's on the right track towards something good, and it seems like everyone is winning in his business model, starting with the ocean, environment, the customer, himself, the company. So I think it's a very good viable model, and I think we should encourage this model. I think it was a little bit confusing for me,
Yes.
him not caring about the product and only caring about the cycling, and there was a disconnect here for me. Is that I wish him all the luck, so I hope it will be good.
Yeah.
And I think the rest of the day was Peter connecting the dots, going through different marketplaces,
Yes.
ending up talking about Asia and talk about what makes the Asian market is totally different than the rest of the markets, and also spoke about the power of the customer when you have significant populations that has a buying power. And like when he spoke about the Asian market, and he said like one of the goals of the government over there to get everyone to move up the ladder,
Yes.
this way they can spend more money in the system. And talking about the difference between single day, which is November 11th
you
for
mean
Alibaba,
the Alibaba,
which
single
is
day,
it's
yeah.
collected about $300 billion compared
30 billion.
30 billion.
30 billion compared to 2 billion in
Black
in
Friday.
Black
in the
Friday
States
in
for
the
Black
US.
Friday States.
Yes.
So all the
That's
stuff
true.
were really good, just taken out through the whole process.
Yeah.
What do you think, Carl?
How about you?
I think for me it was nice to start off this program with a real entrepreneur like Javier, and he came
Right.
in and shared his story. I thought it was
Like
really
that.
inspiring in terms of how he thought about it and how driven he was
Yeah.
as to what he wanted to do. And then obviously Peter's got a lot of energy as well around the topic that he speaks about. It was, for me, I think, sort of a takeaway around us being leaders into the future. And too often we're looking over our shoulder and looking at
Right.
history, trying to figure out
Yes.
what's going to happen in future. Whereas the message was a very clear one, that the future is going to be very different. And then again, whereas a lot of people approach it with trepidation and fear, we
Yes.
must see the opportunities, and that's what we've got to drive and what we've got to lead our teams into, and to look for those opportunities in that future. So
Agree.
I think very exciting.
I agree. From my side, building on top of what you already said, is that for Javier and the entrepreneur we saw in the morning, I was so much inspired by the idea and the passion and how he was believing into that, especially in the part of recycling. But I was a little bit confused that what he was communicating, at least publicly, is the fashion part. And I think he needs to find a little bit about what's his
Exactly.
business model. I was not so sure that
I
he
don't
was
think
going.
he can say I don't care about honestly about the
No,
product
no.
because it's part of the whole product.
Exactly. He needs to find a way to make this sustainable and support also his idea of recycling. The second part with Pete, I love very much the differentiation between how you manage change and how you lead the change, and how you need to identify specific capabilities and maybe different people to do that. One comment to make: Pete, your visuals on this slide was all about men. I didn't see even one female visual, so I was a little bit pissed off. The third thing about Asia, I'm very amazed with what they do over there. and the size of this region. I think we need to go deeper into that and learn from them without thinking of them that they are at other parts of the world, because US companies do not easily can enter this region, but we can learn so much more and make probably the westernized companies much more efficient and maybe collaborate with what happens in the Asian world. Thank you very much for all three of us. See you again,
Cheers,
hopefully
cheers.
in a
Change
good
our close-up
Bye.
promise tomorrow.
Ciao.